Hello everyone, welcome to my next video of GST for class 10th ICSE. And as you all know, if you have seen my previous video, in my previous video I had discussed with you people about understanding GST, about the stages of GST, that means how things are transferred or how transaction is there, and how each stage of the transaction the GST is being applied by the government. So in this video we will proceed further and discuss about the components of GST. So let us discuss, but first of all, before understanding the components or knowing about the components of GST, we should know the tax structure of a country. So let us say a country, India, and according is governed or has two types of government. One is central government and the other is state government. So the central government, as you all know, sits in Delhi, and the state government sits in the particular states. You know that a country is divided into states. So for each state there is a particular government, particular. Now, since India has divided its government into central and the state government, so what we Indian citizen do? We Indian citizen pay taxes to both the government. We pay taxes to both the government or study the components of GST. Clear? So there are three components of GST. First is CGST, which is central GST. Clear? This is central GST. CGST means C for central government. Clear? Second is SGST, which means state GST. That GST which is levied by the state government. Clear? And the last is IGST. Clear? So this is the new term for everyone. This is known as integrated. This is known as integrated GST. Now, there is a specific purpose or important use of integrated GST, or it comes into use when there is a conflict between, or there's some issue between the central and the state government's GST. Clear? So whenever there is a dispute between the manufacturer and the wholesaler, or between the retailer or the consumer, clear? Suppose that a consumer is of some different state, clear, and the manufacturer is of different state. So in that case, this integrated GST comes into use, or it acts in that case. So in the coming explanation, you will understand it much better. So let us understand some cases, and then you will have a better idea of what is central GST and what is state GST, and similarly what is integrated GST. So in order to understand this thing better, we will do something. That means we will divide this system into two cases. So let us consider a case. Let us name it as case 1. So what is this case? When goods or services are rendered rendered in same state. Same state. Clear? Then this situation is called intrastate. Intrastate. So what happens here? What happens here? So let us understand this with the help of a table. So let us divide the GST, or let us divide the GST into components, which are CGST, next is SGST, and last is IGST. So GST is divided into components, and these are the three components of GST. So before understanding that, we must know that our government has divided the GST into 5 slabs. So first slab consists of 0% GST, second consists of 5% GST on commodities or items, next is 5% GST, which is also called standard rate. These are the GST rates or the slab rates, clear, for different type of items. Next comes the 18%, and the last is 28%. So the 0% is levied on food items. Food items means, suppose you go to a vendor who is selling vegetables or who is selling fruits. So when you go and select or purchase food items from him, then what you do? You straight away give the money to the vendor. You do not say that, okay, show me the, or make me a GST list or give me a GST slip, then I will give the tax to the, no, you do not do that, na, isn't it? So that type of commodity or item does not have any GST, or we do not have to give tax to the government. So the GST rate over these kind of item is 0%. The last is, let us discuss this. This is on luxury items. This is on luxury items. Now, why maximum GST rate is on luxury items? Because whenever the transaction of luxury item is there inside the country, you already know, since these are luxury items, so they must be having a huge amount of cost. Clear? So since the business is going out of a good amount of money, so the government is levying 28% GST on luxury items. Now let us understand, come back to our original case, that is our case 1. We were discussing this only, isn't it? So in the intrastate, suppose that what happens, let us say that in a state a cycle is manufactured and sold in the same state. Like for example, in Kanpur, suppose that a cycle is manufactured and it is sold in Lucknow. So both Kanpur and Lucknow are in the same state, Uttar Pradesh, isn't it? So that is why it is called intra-state GST. Okay, so whatever, suppose that 5% of GST is applied on it. Clear? So now, since cycle is not a food item, so it must come under any of these slab rates. So let us take an example, and let us take that it comes in the second slab. It comes in the second slab, and so 5% GST is applied on the cost price of the cycle to be given to the government. Clear? Now, when we are talking about this intrastate and this table, what is happening here? When the case is of intrastate, that means in the same state, then the 5% GST is divided into 2 equal GST percent or GST rates. Clear? So in the same state, clear, of business transaction, the GST, the total GST or the GST levied upon a particular item, the GST levied on the particular item is divided into 2 equal parts. So first half goes to the central government and the second half goes to the state government, and nothing goes to the integrated GST. Clear? Nothing goes to the integrated GST department. Now this was the first case. Now let us consider or understand what is the second case. So the second case says, so this was the case 1. I hope this is clear. So the second case is, you all have understood what can be the second case. So let me write for your help. When goods or services are rendered, let us make it a better definition or better case. When goods and services are produced or sold in different states. Clear? So this is the important thing, and so this kind of case is considered as inter case. This kind of case is considered as interstate case. So what happens here now? Now you understand this thing in this way. Suppose you have a manufacturer in Kanpur, whose state is UP, isn't it? And you have a buyer in say Dehradun, whose state is Uttarakhand, isn't it? Whose state is Uttarakhand. Now you know that both of them are two different states. Clear? So now we are in the second case as we are discussing. So what will happen here now? So what will happen here? This 5% of GST which was levied upon this cycle, what will happen to this 5% which is levied upon the cost price of this cycle? So in the case of interstate, nothing will go here and nothing will go here, and everything will go to IGST department. Now you might be having a doubt why this is so. This only happens because suppose that there is some issue. Issue means, like for example, let us say a manufacturer in Kanpur who is in the Uttar Pradesh state manufactures a cycle and then he sells it to Uttarakhand. So he says, buyer in Uttarakhand, so he says, why should I give tax to a state which is not my state? I am in Kanpur, so I will give tax to my state government. Why should I give tax to the other state government? So this kind of issue is created. So in order to avoid this kind of issue, integrated GST department comes into use. So this is governed by our government. This is governed by our government, and then definitely it is governed by our government, and then this department decides how much should be given to the central government and how much should be given to the state government. Clear? Now, I hope these things are clear to you. Clear? Now, so we have discussed two cases. The first case consists of when goods and services are rendered in same state, and second case when goods and services are produced and sold in different states. So first case 1 sum up is intrastate, and case 2 sum up is interstate. Interstate give rise to the IGST, because in order to avoid any kind of conflict or issue, or to sort out the issue between the manufacturer and the consumer of two different states. I hope these things are clear to you. So now let us proceed further and understand one more term which is very important in GST. So that term is ITC. So let me just rub the board and write what is that, and then we will have a small discussion over that. small discussion over that, so that you can understand all the components and all the terms and factors involved in this chapter of GST, and then you can proceed towards the question. So I'm talking about ITC. ITC stands for input tax credit. Input tax credit. So now, in order to understand this word, you should you should concentrate upon all the three keywords. What are the three words here? Input. Input means you plug in or you put in something. Tax means yes, you're giving a tax. And credit means you have something so that you can spend, isn't it? So you understand these things in this way. Input tax credit. Input means you have something to put in or give. Clear? You have already something with you. And tax is something, that thing which you have to give, and credit is something which you can spend. Clear? So you have tax credit with you. Clear? So this is the rough idea of input tax credit. So let me give you an example which I have already used in my previous video, so that you can understand the concept of input tax credit better. So let us go back to our main diagram. The main diagram says we had government sitting on the top watching everything, isn't it? We had government. Clear? And government is keeping a watch upon the transaction, and in the example that we had taken in the previous video consists of a manufacturer, next was wholesaler, next was the retailer or dealer, and the last was consumer, or customer, or we should say that we are the one who is on this diagram. Clear? So as we have taken a case of cycle, let us say a manufacturer manufactures a cycle, and the cost of that cycle is say 10,000 again. The cost of that cycle is 10,000. Clear? And let GST on that cycle money when that cycle was brought into business, or when cycle was sold to the wholesaler, let the GST levied be 5%. Clear? So let us see what was happening. So in the last video you all know that 10,000 was the price of the cycle, and when 5% GST was applied, the amount for GST came out to be rupees 500. So this was the GST amount. Similarly, when we considered that the wholesaler was selling the cycle at a profit of 1,000, clear? Then the price of the cycle rose to how much? 11,000. And again, because this business deal was being watched over by government, so 5% tax is levied over there, isn't it? So the GST amount paid by the retailer to the wholesaler to be given to the government. I am repeating all these things because whoever purchases the goods has to pay the GST, which is given to the government. Clear? So now let us come back. So 5% of GST is applied on this. So the amount for GST came out to be rupees 550. So this is the GST amount. And again we had something else in the example, that again the retailer is also making a profit of rupees 1,000. So this was the profit made by the retailer. Clear? So now the price of the cycle becomes how much? For the consumer it becomes 12,000. But then since the consumer is being watched, that basically the retailer is being watched by the government, that he is doing a transaction, he is selling the bike or cycle to the consumer, so the consumer has to pay the GST. Clear? So now, so what is the GST amount here? 5% of 12,000 is rupees 600. So this is the GST amount. Clear? And we already know that when the manufacturer is paying GST, it was rupees 500, isn't it? Because from where he was getting the GST? He was getting the GST from the wholesaler only. Clear? So now he is doing the business under the government, so he has to pay some money to the government as a tax, isn't it? So by applying 5% of GST, he has to pay 500 to the government. And you all know that similarly the wholesaler will pay rupees 50 to the government, because he has already paid rupees 500, and when he gets 550 from the retailer, he gives the balance to the government. Clear? As a GST. And then retailer gives rupees 50. And similarly, since we are the consumers, isn't it? We have already paid GST of 600 to the retailer to be paid to the government, isn't it? So we do not pay any money to the government. Clear? So now here we will understand what is the concept of input tax credit. So what does it mean? So now this is the input. Okay, now not this. Okay, for wholesaler. Now let us see. We are talking about manufacturer, wholesaler, retailer and the consumer. And let us see who all are paying or who all have the facility of input tax credit. Clear? So now just see, when we talk about the wholesaler, so what he does, he pays 500, isn't it? He pays 500 to the manufacturer to be paid to the government. So this 500 is the input tax credit, isn't it? Now, input means he has given 500 to the manufacturer. And so what is this? This is the tax. Now let us understand how this is credit. Clear? So now as up to now, you know that he has given 500 to the manufacturer to be given to the government as GST. Clear? Now, when the wholesaler sells the cycle to the retailer at a profit of 1000, he gains or he gets a GST of 550 rupees on a profit of rupees 1000, isn't it? Now this business transaction is being observed by the government, isn't it? So this business transaction is being observed by the government. So government knows that the wholesaler is getting 550 from the retailer. Clear? But the wholesaler says, I have already given 500, so I will give you the balance. Clear? So this 500, so the wholesaler has to give 550 to the government, isn't it? Because he is taking 550 as GST from the retailer. So as GST, we should be given to the government. Clear? So now 550 is the total amount which should be paid to the wholesaler. Now he has already paid 500 to the government. So this 500 is the credit. I hope the things are clear. He has already something 500 to be given already. That means he has already paid this much amount. Now you only have to spend 50 rupees. Clear? Because if we talk about credit cards, you know that in credit cards we have money so that we can spend. Clear? So he has already some money. Clear? He has already some money that he has to spend, and rupees 50 is given as a balance to the government. I hope the idea is clear to everyone. Clear? I repeat for the last time, the credit of tax which the wholesaler has with him on the business transaction of a bicycle at a price of 1000 with a profit of this and GST this received by him, clear, to be given to the government is 550, yes or no? Clear? And now he has already a credit of 500 which he has already given to the manufacturer, so he will not give 500 back to the government. He will say that I will give you 50. So this is the input tax credit for the wholesaler. Similarly, let me repeat again, the input tax credit for the retailer. Now why for the retailer? Because he is again selling the bicycle at a profit of 1000 at a price of 12,000. Clear? And now he is getting rupees 600 as GST. Clear? So will he pay rupees 600 to the government as GST? No. He already has a credit of rupees 550 which he has given to the wholesaler. Yes or no? To be given to the government. Isn't it? So now what he says? I have the credit of what? Of tax which I have already input to you. That means the wholesaler. Clear? To be given to the government. So I will give you the balance of it. Clear? So this is the idea of the input tax credit. Now another idea is there, that means output tax credit. Output tax credit. Output tax credit. Here the word input only means that the item which we have, when we have the input tax credit, then we can resell it. Clear? To get more GST to be given to the government. But in output GST, the consumer ultimately buys the good for himself or herself. Clear? Now he will not do the business, he will use it for himself. So the tax, the output tax, now he will not have the credit. Clear? The credit of tax which he has is already given. Clear? Now he do not have to okay, if he does a business, then this 600 will be considered as the input in the case of a consumer to be given, because this GST will go to the government, and then on further transaction he will collect more GST, and then through consumer it will go to the government. Clear? And then again the same process follow. Clear? So let me just repeat it for the final time. What is ITC and what is OTC? That means output tax credit. So in case of input tax credit, we have the credit already given by us to the government via any wholesaler or retailer. Clear? Or in the case when we are about to sell it to someone else. Clear? Now this tax credit becomes the output tax credit when we are the ultimate consumer of that product. Now we are not going to sell it to the other customer so that we can collect GST from him, so that it can be given to the government. Clear? So we are not doing any further business. So we have paid the ultimate tax credit. Clear? We have finished our tax giving. Clear? So this is the video I wanted to make upon GST and its components and ITC and OTC. So I would like everyone, if you have any problem, just tell me in the comment section. Clear? And then just be very frank to tell anything, and if you have a doubt and if you have a question, you can write it in the comment section. And also definitely I will be discussing some questions so that you can have a better understanding of this chapter GST more. Till then, just please let me know whether you like this video. Okay, bye.